Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win here for the Winter Major Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure you do hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the notifications. If you do want to get the best guides on the market, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that these are suggestions. You don't have to follow what I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. Make sure you send us an email to support@golfclashtommy.com if you do have any questions. You can also as well use the comment section down below. Let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, I'm going to give you one shot where we go aggressive and one shot where we do play conservative. And we're going to talk about the up and downs with those type of shots. 6 bars of topspin is the absolute bare minimum in my opinion. 2 bars of side spin to the left if we are going to play the more aggressive option here. We focus on having the ball guideline pointing towards the pin, and then we shall adjust max plus 15. The problem we can have here with the crosswind is that we sometimes have a headwind angle, sometimes we have a tailwind angle, and sometimes we do have a flat crosswind, because the game mechanism works in the sense that it can change up to 15 degrees from time to time that you are playing this shot, which makes this a very difficult shot to know how it's going to act when rolls through the rough. I'm gonna take this shot again because you can see that we clearly bounce over the water, but the thing that you will have to have in mind here is that you will get stuck in the rough sometimes and sometimes not when you're playing with 6 bars of topspin. Sure, those of you being able to play with more topspin, use that. The problem is if you use more topspin, and if you use topspin boost balls, you have the risk to do what my opponent did, which was basically to not get the ball to stop once rolling through the rough. So this is a very difficult one to get exactly the way we want every single time, and that is the downside with this aggressive shot. The upside obviously is that you will, in a worst case scenario, have a very short rough iron towards the pin, which only comes down to the fact that if you hit perfect, it's gonna be in. So that we do have the aggressive version. I will give you a look at the more conservative option, which has its ups and downs as well. For the more conservative option, we look to play out to the left. I'm using the rock and play with a katana ball here, not using any spin whatsoever, and start with the blue ring by the rough line to the right and also at the plus 3 yard mark. Playing with the rock level 8 or level 9, you start just before plus 0. Adjustment here, I do 1 to 1 plus 1, which is a little bit less than what I should be doing. Maximum distance plus 15 is what I want you to do as an adjustment here for the drive. Bounces nicely on the fairway and we get it over. And here we do not need to be that focused on yardage, but I still want you to note it down. 316 yards is what we're using. And now we play with the thorn. Look for a consistent first spot, so we don't have a glitchy part, because there is glitches here with the winter version of this hole. 2 bars of side spin to the right, ball guideline to the hole, and you will see here now what that I do adjust 3.8 rings for this, which is 15% elevation, and then I use a true slider, meaning that I'm using the club distance that I have. So if I am medium distance, I use medium distance plus 15. If I'm maximum distance, I do the same. We get this ball into the right side of the cup, maybe a smidgen over adjusted, but we got it. So the upside with the more conservative way is that you will always get yourself a consistent shot towards the pin. You will be able to have a consistent drive, and then in the end you have still a good chance for an eagle. The downside with it is that you obviously are a bit further away from pin. If you are struggling finding correct club distance and finding correct adjustment, it will not matter if you hit perfect, and then you will still miss. So up to you to decide, but again, the aggressive option needs minimum 6 bars of topspin to play, otherwise you will have to play left side regardless what you want to do. For hole number 2, I will not give you a left side shot. I'm gonna give you a rough bump. I think this wind is beautiful when it comes to going for the rough bump. I'm using one top spin, And then I'm putting the inner ring to be just by the edge of the rough line, with the ball guideline going just left side of the cup. So it's a very simple adjustment, and I'm using the rock, and I would prefer to use the rock level 7 or better. The rock level 6 would work as well, but lower level the rock than level 6 will most likely go in between clubs. A Kingmaker is also something that we do need, this due to wind resistance and also the power 3. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and we do hit perfect. You do have room, even though there is 3 for a great left and a great right. Trust me on that. So the ball rolls up towards the pin. We just barely missed that one on the right hand side. I think the speed is good. Maybe we could take up a smidgen when it comes to topspin. The thing that I would be using on this shot though is to pull with a 1201 pull angle instead of trying to pull with a straight or 1159. So 1201 pull angle, and then follow the same adjustment here, and then that's going to be a very good chance making a hole in one on hole number 2. And just to touch base about the left side again, I'm not saying that that is a bad way to play, but with the winter version of the green and point, it's way more bumpy than what it was before, which brings more inconsistency. And being able to have a much more consistent line from the rough bump, then I will choose that all day and every day. For hole number 3, we want to use the driver with the most power and topspin possible due to the headwind. I'm using half of the red ring inside the rough, 6 bars of topspin and 2 bars of side spin to the right. You will notice here that I use a Titan ball, which is a power 3 ball. You can use a power 4, power 5 ball, which will in that case prevent you from having to go with overpower. I'm using 3 rings of overpower here, and this is with a 234 yard power driver. And I would somewhat recommend to play with 3 rings of overpower regardless what driver you're having, because the further up we're getting, the better it's going to be for the second shot. Have in mind though, those of you playing with big boy clubs, which I like to call it sometimes, that do have a lot of topspin, then make sure to not use more than 7 bars of topspin, because if you do get that glitch roll, and then you can roll through the fairway and behind a tree, and then you will have a problem with the second shot. Second shot, I will show you one with a Sniper 10 and one with a Cataclysm, and I would say that after looking at these 2 shots, I would recommend playing with the Cataclysm or a Big Dog every single time due to the headwind. And this because I do want to keep ourselves playing with free-to-play balls in this version. Sure, a power 4 ball, power 5 ball will give the sniper the distance that we do want, but in the end, if we do want to play with a power 3 ball, we will be needed to play with a different type of wood club that gives us more power, but not so much ball guideline. And you will see both of them here. I'm gonna take the Cataclysm shot as well here, and you can see that we will not be, even though we have the same type of drive, even though it's not the same account, it's the same drive because it got to the same type of distance. So you can see the difference is having more power on your club here when setting this one up. So I would recommend to play with a club that do give us power, and therefore, you know, it will maybe be a little bit harder to get this one to drop, but to be completely honest, with this type of wind, this is not going to be a hole where people are gonna, you know, rain albatrosses. It's gonna be a way to secure the eagle with a slim chance for an albatross. And I will take that and focus on the other holes to get myself something extra on the scorecard. For hole number 4, we are going to start by using adding spin. 2.8 backspin, 3 bars of side spin to the left. Now we're looking to have the ball guideline to the hole with the red ring just a little bit outside the rough. Very, very important. Now, when we are going to adjust, we shall adjust with a straight pull angle. So 12 in pull angle, and we are adjusting from medium distance plus 10 power to settings. And what will that mean? It means 1-to-1 minus 0.2. So 4.6 ring adjustment for a 4.8 miles per hour. Bounces nicely into the rough. We get that second bounce on the fringe, and this ball comes beautifully right at pin for a lovely hole-in-one on a tough par 3. So 1-to-1 minus 0.2, which is the same as medium distance plus 10 power 2 ball settings. We play with the quarterback, we use the kingmaker as we do want to have the wind resistance. We also want to have the side spin. For hole number 5, we start at the +2 yard mark with our extra mile. 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. And we're looking to have the ball guideline just flushed by the left side rough. It's not that we're gonna flirt with the rough, it's just that we do want to use that as a reference when setting this shot up. I'm using 3/4 of a ball in curl to the right, which will be the maximum curl with lower level type of extra miles. Max +10 is what I'm using, 6 topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. I think I've said that already, but I say it again. We get this ball up to 360 yards. From 360 yards, we shall play medium distance minus 15% elevation. And the thing that I'm looking for here is that I'm looking for the side spin to the right, 2 bars. And I'm looking in this case to not use any top or backspin whatsoever. And this is due to the headwind, because we will have a compressed ball guideline and we don't want to use backspin and then fall short. I'm leaving the ball guideline right side of pin as well, and this as I felt that I was going to be a little bit under adjusted with my shot, which ended up to be not true. So the thing that I want you to do is to do everything exactly what I did with one change, that is to aim for the pin. Ball guideline through the hole, and then this one would have dropped because now we burned the right hand side as we aimed. So minus 15% elevation, medium distance from 360 yards. Titan ball, sniper, and you know, then I do think we're gonna have a decent amount of drops here for hole number 5. For hole number 6, we shall play with a power 5 ball in my opinion, and here we're gonna go aggressive, and I'm gonna explain exactly why once talking through the shot. Stretch out to max, find half of the red ring inside the sand to the left, then release, adjust max +10, and we then apply 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. If you have a tendency to hit great left a lot, then I would recommend to remove the side spin that you do have. Otherwise, you could have a risk going into the rough on the left-hand side. 448 gives us away with the thorn. And here we're gonna be somewhat between minimum and medium distance of our club. Here I want you to play with a minus 20% elevation and base that on the correct club distance. The problem we do have when we're somewhere in between now is, like, once again with the winter version of this hole, it's way more glitches than we're used to have. So I'm looking around a lot of the time that I do spend here, but the thing that we could be in agreement with is that use the thorn, because you do want to have the first bounce on the green and you do want to use a lot of backspin. I do adjust unfortunately too much here, and you will see myself miss on the right hand side, but minus 20% with this type of shot would have worked, and would I get that one to drop. Don't be afraid about the ball guideline showing that you will come in too hot. That is because the hill there obviously is not gonna get the ball to stop. It doesn't mean that it's gonna come in extremely hot. It just means that it will be rolling towards the pin at least. If we do have a drive that comes a little bit further and we maybe get ourselves into close to, you know, max wedge or minimum distance club, I will show you the dunk, so you do have that one in your repertoire as well. And we're gonna look for that. We're just gonna change around in the info box here. There we do have that, and we are going to look for the dunk. So that's also a good reason why the thorn is a really great club to have, because it gives you multiply options with the backspin. Max backspin obviously. Focus here now to have the inner ring to be just at the front of the cup, and the blue rings, the blue arrows just at the back of the cup. Here I do play minimum distance minus 20%, which is 1.5, which is 1.5 rings, and then we hit perfect. And you will see here now we get this one right at the pin at the bottom there. Obviously that's going to make it to drop. So there is different options to play here, but the thing that we're gonna have to be in agreement with is the fact that we do want to push the drive. We want to push the drive to get up and get ourselves a play with the short iron. If we cannot do that, we're going to see ourselves birdie this hole basically every single time, because having to lay up, it's going to be lay up short is going to not be an easy shot for the second shot due to all the glitches and also the narrow green that we are able to that we are going to have to play at. Hole number 7, we're gonna play on the right hand side due to the wind angle being perfect for that. Red ring by the sand trap line, half of the blue ring inside the rough. 2.5 bar backspin, and I'm using 2 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment shall be, in this case, minimum distance with a 20% over adjustment. And in this case, it is 5.1 rings. The thing that you will notice here is that we are going to come up to the top right of the green and for then fall down. There is a funnel there that we're trying to catch. Unfortunately, we don't do that in this example. But the thing that I would like us to do here for the next go is to actually use more side spin. We want to use 2.2 bars of side spin to the right instead of using the 2 bars of side spin that we did use. And the reason for that is that we do need the ball to be, once it bounces, not be pushed that much left as it's getting by the first bounce that we're having. So 2.2 bars of side spin to the right, 2.5 bar backspin, and then use the same type of landing position. Use a kingmaker as we do want more than 2 bars of side spin. And then the quarterback is the club that we're going to play. And here you can use a lower level quarterback as well, because we're not going to be anywhere close max distance whatsoever. Good chance with the little tweak that just suggested for hole number 7. Hole number 8, we're going for green. Here you can push this shot harder than what I do if you want to. If you play with a quarterback level 9, level 10, it's going to be perfect because then you will have a ball guideline to follow. If you don't have a quarterback level 9, level 10, and if you have a lower level quarterback, then I suggest to change the driver and play with whatever driver that gives you minimum 5 bars of topspin, because 5 bars of topspin is what I would like us to use in direct crosswind here on hole number 8. We add spin, and then we're focusing on the second bounce being in the center of the rough with the ball guideline going right side of the pin. And what I mean with pushing this one harder is that we can move further up and to the right, trying to get this ball to make an hole-in-one. The problem we have with that, if we move further up, is if we have a bad great left, we will miss the rough and go into the rough or in the sand on the back, and that could potentially make us miss the eagle. So I give you this route, which is great left and great right proofed, and then you can, in that case, get a simple eagle regardless. Then it's up to you if you want to push it harder or not. Using a Titan ball is not something that you have to do. I used the Titan ball as that was the ball that I went in with to do my shot. But you can play with a katana, you can play as well with kingmaker and so forth. Keep the adjustment medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, which is 1 to 1. So 7.5 miles per hour, adjusted 7.5 rings. Hole number 8 is a par 4. Needs to be an eagle because it is a very simple par 4, especially with crosswind and tailwind. So this one needs to be an eagle. For hole number 9, we're going to play with the rock here as a drive. You can play with the quarterback, but with a low-level quarterback, you may risk going in between clubs. That's better to play with the rock, even though you may have it in a lower level. I'm using all side spin to the right possible, so 3 bars of side spin to the right. And in the end, I will change the play to 1.5 bar of topspin with the rock level 7 here, starting just before plus 1 yard mark. Those of you playing with the rock level 8, level 9 need to back up a ring or two based on the position that we do have here with the rock level 7. Adjustment, maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and I'm not using any curl whatsoever here because I do rely on the wind and the side spin to push the ball to where we want to. Obviously a great left will be a little bit closer than what I do like it to be, but Again, it's a very accurate club to play with the rock, and then it should be fine. The plan here is to lay up before the trees and to get ourselves down with the sniper. And here I'm using 3 bars of left spin, and again, with the older type, with the newer type of the green point, there is no glitch here. Then we have a nice ball guideline towards the pin, but look, you know, this one is a bit frustrating, I must say, because now it's hard to find ourselves a line, and in the end I do decide, after a lot of looking here, to go with 3 bars of topspin and somewhat estimating the ball guideline from here. I still feel that this shot is going to be getting us generally closer than what it would be if we would be playing out to the left and go with a curl shot towards the pin. So even if this was a great idea, unfortunately, it in the end, having a glitchy ball guideline does not really help that much. But again, I do feel that this is the way to play if we will get ourselves closer to an albatross. And sure, maybe we could have moved a little bit left or added a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is, honestly, on hole number 9. No elevation for the second shot whatsoever. This is, as I say, on hole number 3. Sure, there is going to be albatrosses, but it's not gonna rain. It's not gonna rain albatrosses at all. So be happy getting an eagle on this tough par 5. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the Winter Major tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Make sure you hit thumbs up before you go and also get one of our packages on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.